36-minute video. Now today we got 5 disturbing cases that will make you question your humanity. You know what I'm saying? By Lazy Masquerade. A 36-minute reaction. How you love that. Make sure to hit that like button. Hit that sub button, man. Let's get it, man. What the fuck? What the fuck? This is my first time watching this channel, bruh. Let's get it.
In this episode, we'll be diving into a handful of lesser-known cases from around the world that are bound to make you question your faith in humanity. As if you needed any more reasons.
I got my shit on HD. I know we ain't lagging, bro.
A quick word from today's sponsor,
We ain't looking at no sponsors either.
The holiday season. It's the best time of year to show your loved one and a father of remove the cover to take advantage of the Everyday Earbuds new quick charge function.
It's Christmas time, Christmas, December 9th, man.
To save big for the holidays and get up to 25% off
Happy
site-wide.
New Year's, how y'all doing?
That's right. You'll get up to 25% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/masquerade. A retired cop, a local councillor, a model husband, and a father of 2. Watching Francois Verove on the French game show, Everyone Wants to Take His Place, you'd have no reason to suspect he was anything but upstanding. Indeed, he had served in the National Gendarmerie, worked as a motorcyclist in the Republican Guard, and became an officer in Paris's National Police Force. Serving. Protecting.
Nah, just off rip. These is 5 disturbing cases that will make you question your humanity. I don't know what's the correlation between case to case to case. I don't even know what this is about. I just know he a family man. What do you do? He a murderer? I don't know if these motherfuckers murderers, serial killers, what they do, bruh.
Deceiving.
I don't know.
Hidden behind Francois' friendly mask was the worst type of monster there is.
Probably a murderer.
The type that can hide in plain sight.
Because he was in the Marines.
But let's rewind a bit.
PTSD. I know they be having PTSD when you're in the Marines.
French authorities have been hunting an elusive serial killer known as Le Grêlé. In English, the pockmarked man. Between 1986 and 1994, he'd attacked and taken the lives of at least 3 people, though the true number is believed to be much higher. His first confirmed victim was 11-year-old Cécile Bloch, who he had dragged from an elevator in her Parisian apartment building into a room in the basement. There, he slaughtered her and wrapped her up in a carpet.
Damn.
Then came electrician Gilles Politi and au pair.
Damn. Hey, shout out to my shout out to my trades people. He's an electrician. Shout out to my tradesmen.
38 and 20 respectively.
Stand up.
Who were both found in an apartment in the Marais district of Paris. Gilles was positioned face down, with his arms and legs tightly bound in a choke lace. Nearby, Irmgard's body had been placed upright against the frame of a bunk bed, her throat slashed by a blade. Both had been burned with cigarettes prior to their slayings. DNA found on Irmgard's body matched perfectly with the sample found on Cécile Bloch 11 months prior, confirming that this was the work of the same individual. Numerous others survived their encounter with Le Grêlé. They described him as having a face covered in acne scars, hence his nickname. In most cases, he'd flashed a police badge at his victims to coerce them either into his vehicle or a nearby apartment, only to then handcuff them and leave them at his mercy.
Stupid ass niggas.
Leading investigators knew that Le Grêlé had to be one of their own.
Hey.
There were too many telltale signs. The unsub had displayed a police badge, had used law enforcement equipment such as handcuffs and walkie-talkies, and spoke in recognizable police jargon. Not to mention, he'd reportedly demonstrated an advanced understanding of investigative procedures, which he had leveraged to evade capture. Le Grêlé's last confirmed attack also happened to occur in Saclay, a location near a gendarmerie training.
Now, you know what I think this is, or rip. They saying a whole lot of French shit. There's a lot of shit that go on in France, bro. You got the medieval times where they cut your head off. You got the catacombs where it's just bodies on bodies, bro. France is an evil place. I don't know why people want to go there, bro. France is France kind of fucked up, my nigga. There's a lot
Center.
of bullshit going on in France.
Despite having a comprehensive description of the perp and disseminating this effort, the French authorities had a hard time rooting out the snake among their ranks, which seems odd given his distinctive scars. Still, years elapsed, and though several other cases were linked to Legrelli, his spree came to a sudden end sometime around the late 90s, when he seemingly turned inactive, either due to old age, boredom, a change in lifestyle, or an early grave. But despite the passing of time, detectives never gave up on bringing Legrelli to justice. In 2019, more than 3 decades after Legrelli...
Here he is, right here. This the man that they was looking for. This nigga playing in your face on Family Feud, man. It's crazy.
Legrelli's first kill. Newly retired officer Francois Verove appeared on State Channel France 2 as a game show contestant. Laughing and joking with host Nagui Pham, Francois seemed like an ordinary character, entertaining the audience as he answered general knowledge questions and explaining how now that he was retired, he spent most of his free time keeping walkers safe in Paris parks. He appeared completely normal, charming even, but behind his smile lurked a dark truth.
Yeah,
in an effort
he
to
do
unmask
stick out like a
an investigating judge who took over the case
talking,
ordered the summons of 750 officers who'd been active in the Ile-de-France region during the original crime spree, requesting DNA samples from each individual guardsman. On September 24th, 2021, 2 years after his television debut, Francois Verove received his summons via telephone and promptly fled his home in Le Grand Amont. That's because he knew what the DNA results would show. Rather than face what most would call justice, but what he'd call humiliation, Francois had instead rented an apartment in the coastal town of Le Grau-de-Roi, where he ended his own existence on September 29th, 2021. DNA extracted from his remains matched perfectly with the specimens found on the confirmed Legrelli victims. The pockmarked man had finally been identified.
And they never caught his ass.
The 59-year-old confessed to the horrors that he had committed, explaining that he was consumed by an uncontrollable mad rage. He admitted, quote, "I am a great criminal who committed unforgivable acts until the end of the 90s. There were times when I couldn't stand it, and I had to destroy."
Y'all hear that? He said he's a great criminal. I don't know, my nigga. They got you, bruh.
Sully.
They got you, my
Kill
nigga.
someone innocent. The letter was addressed to his wife, with whom he had shared a seemingly normal life, raising 2 children.
They found you, bro. You ain't
The
no
note
great.
claimed that he had committed these atrocities under dark impulses, which he suppressed when he started his family. He claimed that he hadn't committed a crime since 1997, hinting that there are potentially many more victims that the authorities still don't know about. Detectives believe that Francois may have committed more than 9 killings, including those of 23-year-old Sophie Narn, who was slain in an apartment building she was showing in 1991, and 19-year-old Karine Leroy, whose lifeless body was found in a forest near her residence. Francois' double life went unnoticed by those closest to him. His wife had never suspected that her husband, the former cop, could be the cold-blooded monster who had terrified Paris for so many years. His friends described him as a gentleman to everyone, and never suspected he was capable of committing such atrocities, though they did admit that he could get angry easily.
Oh, that's kind of
It's
creepy,
both sad
bro.
and unsettling that monsters like Francois choose to abuse their authority and take advantage of those that they've sworn to protect. And worse, that he was able to turn up for work the next day with a smile on his pockmarked face. That he was so comfortable with his crimes that he was able to appear on television using his real name without a care in the world, only bothering to disguise himself by growing a beard to hide his pockmarks. Thankfully, Legrelli can never harm another person again, but it still makes you question how he went undetected for so long. Stay vigilant, because the unfortunate reality
Fuck,
is
I
that
get
there are
comfortable
plenty
in
of
this
other
bitch,
Francois
man.
out there.
Damn,
People
what I'm
walking
supposed
around
to-
in the daylight, hiding the darkest of secrets. People you'd never expect.
My bad, I'm just trying to find my zone. Trying to chill.
If a scammer texted you this,
My female dog has given birth.
Are you interested?
that would be weird.
Deserve your puppy today.
It's okay.
The fuck is that? Brandon, the case of Brandon Raspberry.
In January 2022, 32-year-old Brandon O'Quinn Raspberry had just begun settling into life in Nixon, a small town in Gonzales County, Texas. He'd been working at Holmes Food for 3 months, and had only recently moved into the Lazy J RV Park and Ranch, where he had been staying for just 4 days. Tragically, his time there was cut short. On January 18th of that year, after Brandon failed to show up for work for 2 consecutive days, his concerned boss contacted the RV park owner. Said owner tried repeatedly to get a response from Brandon, but received no answer.
His concern, boy, you think bosses really be giving a fuck? You think your manager really give a fuck if you don't show up to work every day? To where if they made a documentary about you, if some crazy shit happen, your manager don't give a fuck, my nigga. They just want to see where you at, bro. Your manager not concerned, bro.
Eventually, they entered his motorhome, uncovering a grim scene. Brandon sprawled out lifeless on his bed, with a small hole in his skull. Forensic teams meticulously searched the RV for evidence, sending crucial items to the Austin Crime Lab for analysis. Investigators also issued search warrants to trace Brandon's cell phone activity and any other devices nearby during the suspected time of the crime. An autopsy by the Travis County Medical Examiner revealed that Brandon had been shot in the head at close range.
Okay.
The report estimated that he had been dead for approximately 2 days before his body was discovered.
And what's wrong with this? What's wrong?
In spite of these findings, investigators uncovered no leads. Brandon's killer seemed to have vanished without a trace.
See, look, and that's what's scary about like moving out of town. Don't nobody know you, bro. You move out of town, don't nobody know you. Anybody could do anything to you, bro. You don't know where you at.
Fast forward to April 2024.
You don't know none of these
over
motherfuckers.
2 years later. A troubling
Anybody can
incident
do anything
at the
to
Nixon
you, bro.
Smiley Independent School District unexpectedly reignited the case.
So
An
stay at
elementary
home.
student had threatened another child
Stay
on
in
a school
your
bus, saying that
family
he would
area, bro.
end them.
Stay within your state at
The
least.
school conducted a threat assessment and contacted law enforcement. When a deputy arrived to investigate, the situation took a shocking turn. Instead of admitting that he had threatened the other child, the boy allegedly confessed to something.
Wait. What happened? So they said, my fault for yapping, bro. They said they don't know who his killer is.
Investigators uncovered no leads.
No leads.
Brandon's killer seemed to have vanished without a trace. Fast forward to April 2024, over 2 years later. A troubling
This year,
incident at the
2024.
Nixon Smiley Independent School District unexpectedly reignited the case. An elementary student had threatened another child on a school bus, saying that he would end them. Alarmed, the school conducted a threat assessment and contacted law enforcement. When a deputy arrived to investigate, the situation took a shocking turn.
Yeah, you can't say that
Instead
no
of
more.
admitting that he had
Can't
threatened
say
the
that
other
no
child,
more, my nigga.
the boy allegedly confessed to something far more sinister. He claimed to have killed a man 2 years earlier. Taking that statement seriously, investigators recalled the unsolved case of Brandon Raspberry and brought the boy in for a forensic interview at a child advocacy center. During the interview, the youngster provided chilling details about the crime, describing Brandon's slaying in a way that only someone with first-hand knowledge could. The boy revealed that on January 16th, 2022, he had visited his grandfather, who lived a few lots away from Brandon in the Lazy J RV.
Now this a kid in school on a bus making threats. Come to find out he really knows something about something that happened. Motherfuckers really be crazy for real, bro. Don't take that shit lightly. When the motherfuckers say they anything, bro, they probably, you don't know what people going through, bro. 2 years earlier. 2 years, that's all it took, and he got the talking shit on the bus, bro.
While exploring
He done
his
threw his
grandfather,
granddad under the bus, his
his
granddad,
truck,
God
he found a
damn.
handgun which he described as dirt and army green in the glove compartment, and decided on a whim to use it. Taking the weapon, he selected Brandon's RV at random and quietly entered. Inside, he saw Brandon asleep in his bed. Without hesitation, the boy tiptoed over and shot Brandon once in the head at point-blank range. Before leaving, he fired a second shot into the couch, then calmly returned the gun to the glove box of the truck.
Now look, if your granddad gets, hey, what happened to granddad, bro? I mean, shit, there's a couple ways this shit could go. This nigga
Perhaps
had
the
his
most
shit locked
disturbing
up.
detail was the fact that the boy didn't even know Brandon personally and had no motive for ending his life. When asked if Brandon had ever wronged him or made him angry, the boy simply replied, "No." He just wanted to see what would happen, what it felt like. On April 12th, 2024, investigators found that same pistol at a pawn shop in Seguin, Texas. The boy's grandfather had sold it. Forensic analysis confirmed that the gun matched the 2 shell casings recovered from Brandon's RV.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What you trying to sell that bitch for? Your granddad, y'all on some shady
Proving
ass
that
shit.
it was the weapon used.
Shady shit down there in Nixon.
Due to the
Fuck
boy's
wrong
age,
with y'all?
only 7 at the time of the incident, he couldn't be charged with murder under Texas law, which holds that children under 10 can't be held criminally accountable. The child was placed in emergency psychiatric detention for 72 hours and later taken into custody for making a threat on the school bus.
Now the 10-year-old is awaiting a court date for making a threat on the school bus, but will not be charged in connection with Brandon's murder. He remains in the custody of the Gonzales County Juvenile Probation Department. That's crazy. Why would you put something like that on the internet, bro? Like, I don't know. Motherfucking little kids could get a hold of this shit and just get to doing shit. You feel me? And to get away with it. God damn, bro. That's crazy.
Getting 8 ads every 20 minutes is actually diabolical. Meet Pi, the ad blocker
hit
that
that like
actually
button.
works on Twitch, aka every
I ain't got no
user's
ad
stream.
blocker.
I can watch my favorite streamers.
I ain't getting no ad blocker, bro. Skip them bitches. Skip them bitches.
Zulfiran Osman Zulkarnain was a young Malaysian man who had dreamed of serving his country from a young age, and after graduating from secondary school, took his first step toward achieving that goal by enrolling at the National Defence University of Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. His mother, Hawa Osman, had expressed concerns about his decision. Her reluctance stemmed from challenges that her late brother had faced during his military career, and horror stories that she had heard from other young recruits. Despite this, Zulfiran pursued his dream, making sure to stay in regular contact with his family.
So they are crazy. It ain't just dude. It's her brother too that want to go to the military. He done did some crazy shit. We about to figure that out in a minute. They are probably just born crazy though. You could gotta tell them, yeah, these niggas.
Put their minds at ease.
What's going on, bro?
In his 3rd year, though, something happened. A fellow cadet, Mohammed Akmal Zahari Asmal, accused Zulfiran of stealing his laptop.
What? Mohammed Akmal Zahari Asmal. Mohammed Akmal Zahari Asmal. Crazy, bro.
A claim that was completely unfounded. Despite Zulfiran's repeated denials, Akmal refused to believe him. Seeking validation, Akmal enlisted the help of a bomber, a traditional healer, or, if you like, charlatan, who falsely claimed through visions that Zulfiran was the thief. This only escalated the situation, leading to the horrors which would follow.
Hold on.
May 21st, 2017, Akmal, along with a dozen or so other classmates loyal to him, confined Zulfiran at the university dormitory and began beating him, demanding a confession. Even in the face of mounting aggression, Zulfiran maintained his innocence. The next day, on May 22nd, the situation worsened. 6 individuals, led by Akmal, restrained Zulfiran and used a steam iron to inflict burns across his entire body, including his most vulnerable areas. Despite the extreme pain, Zulfiran continued to deny stealing the laptop. The torture lasted for hours, leaving him covered in burns.
Man, no telling what the law like out there in Malaysia, but shit, you can sue their ass, get that bag, bro.
Days following the assault,
Get that bread.
Zulfiran didn't attend class or training due to his deteriorating condition. On May 27th, he was brought to a clinic by 4 of the 6 main culprits. Unable to speak for himself, the group falsely told the doctor that Zulfiran had been caught in an explosion during a training exercise. Alarmed by the severity of the burns, the doctor urged them to take Zulfiran to the hospital and even wrote a referral letter. However, his advice was ignored, and the group brought Zulfiran back to the barracks, where they kept him hidden from view. 2 of Zulfiran's closest friends attempted to help him by anonymously sending letters to the warden, fearing that they might become the next targets of scolding if they approached him directly. Unfortunately, their efforts went ignored, and the warden failed to take any action. When Zulfirin returned to the clinic on May 31st, he was visibly weaker, dehydrated and in pain. Accompanied this time by Akmal and one of his accomplices, he refused to go to hospital, likely under threat of violence, and only asked for his wounds to be cleaned and bandaged. The following day, on June 1st, one of the perpetrators called for an ambulance after finding Zulfirin unresponsive.
Damn.
The 20-year-old was pronounced dead at Serdang Hospital the following day, his body swollen beyond belief. The forensic pathologist who examined Zulfirin reported 90 burn marks, 29 of which were third degree and so severe that they exposed wet muscle tissue. She concluded that these injuries caused heart swelling and kidney failure, ultimately resulting in death. Zulfirin's passing, now classified as a homicide, sent shockwaves through Malaysia. It's believed that 20 to 30 students may have been involved in the attack, but authorities identified 19 students.
What type of computer was this, bro? Like, is y'all... Like, what's the climate out there like in Malaysia, bro? Like, damn, nigga over a laptop.
Aged between 20 and 21 as the main perpetrators.
It's crazy.
On June 14th, 2017, 6 students were charged with first-degree murder under Section 302 of the Malaysian Penal Code, which carries the mandatory death penalty. They were the aforementioned ringleader, Akmal, and his 5 closest cronies.
They out there like that, nigga said death penalty, bro. They just handled that bitch out. They probably saw raw out there in Malaysia. Nigga probably got shot down in front of a firing squad, bro. Like, they do that out there. Like, motherfucker, you got lethal injection here, nah, nigga, you out there, you probably get shot, chopped down, bro.
Azamuddin Mad Sofi, Najib Madrasi, Afif Najmuddin Azad, Shobarin Sabri, and Abdul Hakim Modali. Another 13 students, whose identities were withheld. Ringleader.
Shit don't make sense, bro. They look Asian, but they Muhammad Akmal Azmar. Muhammad Akmal, you know what I'm saying? That shit sound kinda Middle Eastern, dog. Muhammad, Abdul Hakim, bro. Muhammad Ali. What they got going on out there, bro? You ain't never seen no
closest cronies.
Chinaman fuck
Azamuddin Mad Sofi, Najib Madrasi,
fuck with them, bro.
Afif Najmuddin Azad,
I ain't never seen it.
Shobarin Sabri, and Abdul Hakim Modali. Another 13 students, whose identities were withheld, were charged under Section 330 for voluntarily causing hurt to force a confession. All 19 suspects pleaded not guilty. The main 6 had their charges reduced and were sentenced to a mere 13 years behind bars. They were seen laughing and smiling as they left court following the verdict. Later, a 3-judge panel at the Court of Appeal, helmed by Justice Hadaria Saeed Ismail, unanimously decided that only the death penalty could address the case's gravity, and that the 6 men were to be sent to the gallows. Their capital sentence is yet to be carried out.
What? So they
In addition, but one of the remaining 13 defendants were found guilty of intentionally causing injury to coerce a confession from Zulfirin. Their original punishments were also increased, from 3 to 4 years apiece. The one student who was acquitted, Akmal Akif, was one of Zulfirin's closest friends, and had been one of the 2 cadets to send a letter to the
Look at though, you think you could beat his ass, bro? You probably fucked this nigga up, dog. But y'all burn this nigga over a laptop that's not yours? Motherfucker different.
The other suspects had learned about the letter, meant holding a grudge.
No, but he looked kinda happy too. I'm thinking she was about to be, I'm kinda fucked up by it. Damn, bro. He said he if they burning you with this shit, bro, you probably say, nigga, fuck your laptop, bro. What they gonna do, nigga? Kick you out the Marines, bro. Fuck that laptop, nigga. Yeah, I did it, bro. He probably
Located
ain't
him
do this shit.
in Zulfirin's slaying.
Who took the laptop, bro? Who took the laptop? The nigga probably took the laptop, helped kill
Akmal was able to
dude.
prove his innocence and was finally released in 2019. Human rights groups continue to campaign to save the lives of the 6 condemned men. In response, Zulfirin's parents condemned their advocacy for leniency, accusing them of failing to acknowledge the inhumane torture inflicted on their son while championing mercy for the perpetrators. They also declined to meet the families of the convicted, stating that it was too late for apologies, seeing how no apologies were offered during the trial. The incident, of course, affected his family immensely, so much so that none of them can even look at a steam iron, let alone use one.
Damn.
Zulfarin's story remains a powerful reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked cruelty, especially in institutions meant to foster discipline and camaraderie, where herd mentality can quickly take over.
Yeah, that's some
The
shit.
National Defense University of Malaysia has since gained notoriety, with it now colloquially being referred to.
That sound like some
That's the
shit that
hell
you would
school.
read in a school book. Them school books, bro. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, bro. They sound like something you would read in a book at school, bro. Just a little. We got Dr. Thomas Kwan. Tom Kwan.
Dr. Thomas Kwan was the kind of man who seemed to blend seamlessly into the fabric of society. A 53-year-old general practitioner from Sunderland, England, living a quiet, suburban life with his wife and young son in an affluent neighbourhood. A trusted member of his community who had helped countless people overcome illness. But despite having a respectable and well-paying job, behind closed waiting room doors, the good doctor was formulating a twisted plan to eliminate a man he believed stood between him and a small fortune.
Damn.
The target of Thomas's elaborate scheme was Patrick O'Hara, his mother's partner of 20 years. The source of Thomas's resentment? A will his mother, Jenny Lung, had written in 2021. It stipulated that her home couldn't be sold without Patrick's consent if she passed away first, a stipulation that enraged Thomas, whose sense of entitlement to his inheritance had already strained their relationship.
Damn.
The bitterness festered and came
Imagine.
to a head when Thomas forced his way into his mother's home, prompting a police call. Although no charges were filed, the incident deepened the growing rift between mother and son. It seemed that in order to get his hands on his money, Thomas needed to take his de facto father-in-law, Patrick, out of the picture. And being a doctor, old Tommy here
Right,
decided
dog. You a doctor. What you fighting over a little property for, bro? You was a doctor, bro. A doctor, my nigga. You can buy a house in 2024. Bro.
to use his medical expertise to orchestrate an
You probably
elaborate
don't want to, though. He a doctor. He don't need to buy a house if he don't want
murder
to.
that would appear natural and undetectable. In January 2024, he began weaving his intricate web of deceit. Using NHS-headed paper, Thomas drafted a letter under the name Mr. Raj Patel of the Community-Associated Nursing Team, offering Patrick a home visit for a COVID booster jab. The letter even included a QR code linking to a professional-looking questionnaire, complete with a scheduled appointment of January 22nd. Trusting the legitimacy of the letter, Patrick accepted the offer. Meanwhile, Thomas meticulously prepared for their fateful meeting. He booked a room at a hotel under a false name and drove there in the family car, outfitted with fake license plates. Disguising himself as a nurse, he donned a mask, tinted glasses, a hat, and a long coat.
Wait a minute. This
A
dude
recovered
right
photo
here.
from his computer showed that he had also experimented with a wig, false beard, and moustache. He even created this fake NHS ID to fool passers-by that he was Raj Patel, a man who didn't actually exist. The whole charade would have been laughable had his next move not been so sinister. On the morning of the appointment, Patrick answered the door, welcoming Nurse Raj into the house, and even calling out to Thomas's mother that the NHS man had arrived. The disguised Thomas played his part flawlessly, taking Patrick's blood pressure and collecting blood and urine samples in the lead up to the big finale. In an unsettling twist, Thomas's mother asked for her blood pressure to be checked too. Oblivious to the truth, she didn't recognize her son, and even chatted about her medication. When it came time for the booster jab, Thomas injected Patrick with a chemical believed to be a never-before-used substance, sourced from the secretive Porton Down weapons lab. The injection caused searing pain, prompting Patrick to cry out, "Bloody hell!" And Thomas, maintaining his act, reassured him in a fake Indian accent that the pain was normal. As Thomas prepared to leave, his mother remarked, "My, Nurse Raj, you're just the same height as my son." That statement immediately made Patrick feel uneasy. He looked out onto the street and watched as Thomas, or Raj, left, wondering whether he should call him back for a closer look, but the moment passed. Unbeknownst to Patrick, the chemical in the syringe would soon wreak havoc upon him. The injection site developed burns and blisters before evolving into necrotizing fasciitis.
It's crazy about technology they got these days. You know, you got like phone technology, but then you got like chemistry technology. You feel me? Chemistry technology, bro. Like they mixing up different type of shit, bro, for medicine, and it's like the shit help you. If you got a cut, you could take some antibiotics, and your cut heal faster. That's chemistry. Chemistry technology is different types of technology out here, bro.
A deadly, flesh-eating disease. Now experiencing intense pain, Patrick sought help.
Medicine and chemistry
Surgeons
and shit
fought
like
desperately
that.
to stop the infection, cutting away diseased flesh to save the pensioner's life. Thankfully, Patrick did survive, and the incident set off an investigation that would expose Thomas's sinister plot.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, Thomas was arrested. He refused to answer police questions.
Look at his shit. He just being greedy, bro. Who was your father? Because if he ain't around, ain't no way your mama's shit could have been better than the shit that you got. Look at his shit. He got gold frame paintings, all type of shit. He got the full pajama set. Nigga, I go to bed in t-shirts and hoop shorts. So you got the full pajama set, bro. You flexing. You ain't need to do this, bro.
But honestly warned them to exercise caution when searching his garage.
What do you think it be that make these motherfuckers flip though? Do you think it be the 10 years of what's that shit called? School that you gotta go through to be a doctor?
There, investigators discovered vials of mercury, arsenic, thallium, sulfuric acid, and even ingredients for ricin. On Thomas's computer hard drive, they also uncovered a treasure trove of incriminating evidence, including documents titled Guidance on Homicide Investigations, Instructions on Making Ricin from Castor Beans, a recipe for sodium cyanide, and 10 poisons used to kill people. Police later discovered that Thomas had installed spyware on a computer at his mother's home, enabling him to monitor emails, internet searches, and even film the couple as they used it. Initially, Thomas admitted to only administering a noxious substance, claiming he intended to cause Patrick no more than mild irritation. However, as the prosecution's case unfolded, it became clear the evidence against him was overwhelming. Newcastle Crown Court heard that the substance he used was something only a knowledgeable poisoner would select, designed to avoid detection and complicate treatment. After hearing the opening arguments against him, Thomas changed his plea to guilty in hopes of leniency. He was sentenced to 31 years and 5 months behind bars. The revelation of Thomas's double life stunned those who knew him. To his patients and neighbors, he was an unassuming family man living on the edges of a quiet estate. Yet beneath the surface,
you hear that? A quiet estate.
He
They don't
harbored
say that shit if that's your next door neighbor, my nigga. He had an estate, bro. Had property, bro. Had land, nigga. You thought you was a Patel.
cold, calculating nature that led him to plan the slaying of a man he deemed an obstacle. Thomas Kwan's story is a chilling reminder of how greed can corrupt even those in positions of trust, leading an otherwise respectable GP to break his Hippocratic oath and become a would-be killer. Though thankfully, Thomas wasn't the mastermind he thought he was.
He was a dumbass. How you go through 10 years of middle school? You still
Don't
dumb.
do it! You can still earn income while learning how to code!
But I'm a janitor.
There's no experience required!
You mean anybody can do this?
What happened to Jen? This the last one. Am I questioning my humanity? No, I'm questioning their humanity. You feel me? These is some crazy shit. The craziest one so far had to be this one, dog. No, yeah, this one crazy, guys. Brandon Raspberry was kind of crazy too. This was like, and then this was kind of, But what happened to Jin, bro?
This next case was brought to my attention by the undisputed king of Asian true crime write-ups, Moondog151 over on Reddit, whose breakdown of this case was an invaluable resource. On February 23rd, 1969, 14-year-old Japanese student Jin Shoyama was sitting on his porch in Sasebo, Nagasaki Prefecture, working on crafts for school. It had been something of a busy Sunday, with Jin desperately trying to get some work finished before the start of the school week. After hitting a brick wall, he went inside and told his family that he was heading to the Tamiya department store to buy some materials.
That shit crazy.
Jin quickly put on his Hanazono Junior High School uniform and cap, for even though it was the weekend, like many other Japanese students of the era, Jin had a deep-rooted sense of school pride. He set off out the door
I
at
fuck with
approximately
that.
2
I
p.m.
fuck with that. You don't hear that too much. Motherfuckers got school pride. Motherfuckers, they happy by learning, bro. What you think they learning
His
about,
family
bro?
would never see him again. Hours later, at 6:30 p.m., a man appeared at the Shoyama household, holding Jin's cap. Without hesitation, he stated, "The owner of this hat stole my money." The man was a complete stranger to the Shoyama family, and due to Japan's strict privacy laws, his name has never been made public. So for the purposes of this video, I'll be referring to him as Tanaka. Tanaka, who claimed to be a clerk at a dry cleaner's, described his encounter with Jin earlier that afternoon. At 3:30 p.m, he claimed to have seen two boys struggling to free their bike after its wheels had gotten stuck in a gutter. Being the good Samaritan he was, Tanaka took off his jacket, neatly folded it, and placed it by the roadside before lending the youngsters a hand.
See, that's what's kind of weird about these Japanese motherfuckers, though. They too put together, though. You feel me? You hear how you just folded his... He folded... That's some anime, some shit that you would see in the anime, bro. They kind of off like that, bro. I'm just... What? Nigga, take my shit off, put it over the rail.
He said that one of the boys snatched his jacket and fled the scene, and the other ran off behind him. According to Tanaka, inside one of the jacket pockets was 460,000 yen.
Damn.
Adjusted for inflation, that would have been between 10 and 12,000 US dollars today.
Damn.
He of course...
Dumbass, what you walking around like that for, bro? Your motherfucker got banks out there.
pursued the boys, managing to grab Jin's cap before they escaped. Using the name inscribed on the cap, he tracked down Jin's family and demanded compensation. But for obvious reasons, they couldn't and wouldn't pay.
Why?
He left in a huff shortly
Why? The dude didn't get kidnapped or nothing.
thereafter. The
What
encounter
happened?
left Jin's family puzzled. The accusation seemed entirely out of character for Jin.
Right.
His report card noted that he was a serious and quiet young man who served as a discipline committee member and who was trusted by all his classmates.
Yeah, they got that out there
In
too,
their
that
mind,
discipline
he would have chased
shit.
down his
That's what they be
friend and made
teaching.
him give back the jacket. But
That's what they
Tanaka's
be
sudden
teaching.
appearance and
They don't
story
teach that shit
were
up
deeply
here,
unsettling, especially
United
since he had
States.
produced a cap that was clearly Jin's. By the next morning, Jin still hadn't returned home. What had arrived was a letter addressed to his father. That letter, postmarked the night of Jin's disappearance, read as follows.
To your dad, nigga.
Dispensing with preliminaries, I'm sorry for worrying you. One of my bad friends made me steal the money. There was more than 400,000 yen in there, but I only received a little. Please tell school that I'll be absent for a while until I sort myself out. I'll return home soon and apologize. Please don't come looking for me.
Oh, that's kind of crazy. Ain't no telling, bro. Hey, that's how they raise like killers and shit. You a motherfucker take you from your family, nigga. You in debt. You ain't about to die, bro. They ain't about to kill you. They about to breed you for war, nigga. You about to go. You fucking with the Yakuza at this point. That's how motherfuckers, they gotta pay their debt to get out the shit. That crazy. That's some crazy shit.
Jin.
Crazy shit in the world, bro.
While the letter matched Jin's handwriting, his family found it extremely suspicious, and, concerned for their son's safety, finally contacted the police. Instead of dismissing the case as a runaway incident, though, the authorities agreed that something was amiss.
You can't.
Experts confirmed that the handwriting matched Jin's. Given the complexity of Japanese written characters, people's handwriting is far more idiosyncratic than in languages based on Latin script, and making someone else's
Like, I'm
style
supposed to
enough
know what
before
that
their
mean,
family
bro.
is no small feat. However, they did note some irregularities. The letter had been written both too neatly and too formally, using kanji combinations that Jin would have never used. For example, Zenryaku, which is how one begins a short letter and roughly translates into dispensing with preliminaries. It's a complex set of kanji that Jin likely wouldn't have written. They also noted how he had used hiragana to write much of the letter, including his own name. Hiragana is much more simple to write than kanji, and could easily have been a sign that Jin had written the letter while frightened and under duress. Sure that Jin's life may be in mortal peril, the investigators turned their attention to Tanaka, the man who had accused Jin of theft.
Right, yeah.
A quick background check confirmed that Tanaka was indeed a 24-year-old employee at a local dry cleaners. However, detectives learned that he had been released from a juvenile detention center after serving 2 years. Tanaka's criminal history raised doubts about his story, including how he had obtained such a large sum of money and why he was walking around with it in his jacket pocket.
Right.
He claimed that he had hidden the money under his parents' floorboards before his incarceration, a claim that his own family denied. Tanaka's story had other inconsistencies too. For instance, he led police to the location of the alleged theft, but no witnesses, bike tracks, or other evidence supported his version of events. The idea that Jin and another boy could have known about the hidden money in his jacket also seemed implausible.
Right, look. What did he just say, brother? The fact that Jin and another boy could have known that it was 400 racks in that bitch. Nigga, how? How, bro? So yeah, he lying though. I'm thinking they was bogus.
Speaking of the other boy,
They
none
not.
of Jin's friends said
What
that
happened?
they met up with him that afternoon, and no other children in the area had been reported missing. The police began suspecting that Tanaka may have randomly picked Jin off the streets to hold him for ransom.
Japan be
large
flexing too. Japan be flexing, they do. They got mountains and shit. That's all. That's really it. They got mountains and shit. Mountains.
A search was quickly launched,
Ain't no
composed of
mountains over
50
here.
investigators, Jin's family, teachers, classmates,
not
and
where I'm at.
volunteers, all combing through Sasebo's streets, alleys, and surrounding mountains. Yet no trace of the missing student was found anywhere.
But it get like that though, you know.
Tanaka
what I'm
was
saying? It
subjected
do.
to a polygraph
It
test,
do.
one which he passed with flying colours. Despite circumstantial evidence, the police couldn't directly link him to Jin's disappearance. However, their investigation revealed another chilling detail. Several witnesses reported seeing 3 other men asking strangers for Jin's home address half an hour before Tanaka arrived at Jin's house. The police theorized that these men were likely accomplices, possibly friends Tanaka had made while behind bars.
I see the mini splits. Shout out to my tradesmen. What's these? The mini splits up there. The mini splits. Videos are almost over. What happened to Jen, bro?
But this new information concerned investigators. This group of kidnappers could have easily just asked Jin where he lived, so why were they out searching for leads? Either Jin refused to tell them, or, more worryingly, he'd been rendered unconscious, or worse. Efforts to identify the other 3 men were unsuccessful, and the case began to grow cold. In 1973, an interview with Tanaka was published in the Asahi Shimbun, one titled Human Evaporation. Throughout the article, Tanaka, now working as a dump truck driver in Nara Prefecture, where he had relocated with his wife and children, made cryptic statements which reignited public interest in the case. When asked about the origin of the money, he responded, "It would be disadvantageous if I told you, but I suppose I'll probably have to reveal that someday." When asked how the boys would have known about the money hidden inside his jacket, Tanaka admitted, "Yeah, you couldn't see it from the outside. Come to think of it, that is strange." When asked about Jin's height, he became visibly startled, incoherently describing Jin as his own height. Jin, at 168 centimeters, was significantly taller than the short, stocky Tanaka. This introduced a new theory, that Tanaka may have not directly met or even seen Jin, and may have instead been working as a messenger for those who had taken him. The police theorized that the 3 unidentified men might have orchestrated Jin's kidnapping and enlisted Tanaka as a middleman to deliver the cap and ransom demands. This explained why no direct evidence linked him to Jin's abduction. However, seeing how Tanaka never played ball, likely out of fear of incriminating himself, The police lacked enough evidence to reopen the case or pursue the new leads.
Wow.
No further demands for cash were ever made.
Wow.
And despite a large-scale investigation and widespread public interest, Jinsho Oyama was never found.
Damn. Nah, ain't that crazy, bro? But you out there dealing with Japan, though. They got their own different way of dealing with shit. It's probably still ninjas and samurais still up there chopping shit up in the mountains, bro. They crazy up there. You ever see like what's that scary movie? It's a scary movie where they got the Asian boy in the bathtub, nigga. They really be out there like that, bro. Like they really, I be seeing that shit. I'm like, damn, motherfucker, white as hell. Like remind me of that shit. So yeah, they different up there in Japan for sure. But hey, 5 disturbing cases that will make you question your humanity. By Lazy Masquerade, man. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. Yeah, man.